Hey guys, earlier this year, Jason McGee, a disabled yet hopeful woodworker from Sherman, Illinois, reached out and asked for some guidance in setting up a woodworking workshop in his home garage. He's a fan of ToolBoxBuzz, he's been enjoying our videos, our YouTube channel, and wanted to inquire if we ever got involved in charity work or know folks who have maybe the ability to help him out a little bit. Due to a spinal cord injury in his teenage years, Jason was diagnosed as an incomplete quadriplegic, and he was expected to be bedridden for pretty much the remainder of his life. Jason's battled through illnesses, surgeries, and an amputation, and he's emerged with the ability to use a manual wheelchair and a really strong-willed attitude to go with it. And he works in his shop and he loves it. He loves tools. Unfortunately, he's on a fixed SSDI income currently, but he wants to set up on his own. He wants to do some woodworking, his little side hustle business to further his independence. So he asked us if we knew groups or people who might be able to help folks with disabilities acquire tools, equipment, anything to help get him started. Jason has explained also that he has noticed that there's no real significant presence for disabled woodworkers on YouTube. And he wants to set up a channel, a shop on YouTube and inspire people with disabilities and tell them and show them that they're not limited by their disability, only your ability and desire to adapt and learn. So Jason wants to create and inspire, and his email touched us here at ToolBoxBuzz, and it made us realize that being faced with a diversity or challenge is often the time when people are most inventive and when ingenuity and creativity thrive. We needed to do something. So we got together, we figured we we're going to use our skills, our knowledge of tools, our tool company contacts from our tool reviews to help them. We reached out to a few industry connections. We wanted to just feel them out and see if we could maybe get Jason some tools and equipment and ship them out to him. It soon became obvious though that Jason needed more help than just that. He needed help setting the tools up. His garage was a mess. He needed someone to help him organize and set up a workshop in his garage. So Jeff Dietz, tool reviewer and editor here at ToolBoxBuzz, and we agreed to fly out and work with Jason for 2 days, helping him set up his shop. Now, as a result of our tool donation requests, Acme Tools, Milwaukee Tool, Ryobi, Home Depot, Rockler all offered to send tool donations. Acme Tools, they're a tool distributor, and they reached out with several different brands to get tools from them, and that included DeWalt, Jet Power Tools, Rikon here in Billerica, and they were able to secure thousands of dollars worth of tools for Jason's workshop, which was awesome. So we started thinking about the floor considerations on Jason's shop. It's approximately 15 by 25, and our goal was to help him make his shop wheelchair friendly. We spoke with Jason, we did some research, we learned special requirements to help guide us in this shop design. For example, when planning shop storage, heights of tool tables and workbenches are critical. For example, Jason needed 28 inches of minimal clearance underneath tables and tools to be able to roll up and get his knees underneath so he could work on stuff. Jason's reach from his chair was variable. It depended on the application, so we had to look at each application and consider that. So back here in Boston, Jeff and I studied the tool donations that were going out there, looked at their dimensions and specifications, and started working out rough ideas for his shop and heights of tables and stuff. And we followed some guidelines, and basically we wanted a workflow for his wheelchair, right? So while we try to think of workflow in typical project application, we also had to consider movement, such as his wheelchair. It needs about 60 inches of floor space to do a 180, 4-foot wide travel lane is needed to move and maybe to get past somebody. Certainly he needs at least 40 inches of workspace between a workbench and a machine or in front of the machine. So we tried to place tools, workbenches, and things sensibly and accessories near workbenches. We wanted to design a centrally located assembly table, keeping clamps, assembly tools, sanding, accessories, stuff like that close. We wanted to build him a table saw outfeed table that could potentially double as a really large two-sided access assembly table. So we flew out there, and day one in Jason's shop started like this. Hey everybody, we made it to Sherman, Illinois, Jeff and I. It's a long trip, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're here. Jason, it's good to meet you in person, man.
Great to meet you guys.
And can you tell everybody, how this got started? I mean, I know how it got started, but...
I wanted to start, after my sister died, I realized that we don't have a lot of time on this earth, so we need to do something that makes us happy. Woodworking has always made me happy. I just never had the ability to do it, the funds to build buy the tools, and I wanted to get into it, so I started watching YouTube videos. And one of the tools I know that I needed was a planer, so I was watching reviewers, and I wasn't real satisfied with them, and then I came across you guys, and you guys were so comprehensive, and you accounted for all the different variables, and you sucked me in, and I started watching you guys' videos.
Is that the head-to-head that we did on the planers? Yeah, that was a good one. It was fun, yeah.
You guys did some amazing work with that. You guys put a lot of wood through that.
So you saw that, then you I think, did you shoot me an email, or was it a message on YouTube or something?
I shot you an email.
Yep.
And I told you, I told you kind of a little bit about me and what was going on, and I reached out because I was thinking maybe you guys had some extra tools laying around you might send my way. And then when you sent me the email about Dream Workshop collaboration, it moved me to tears.
Nice. We reached out to a bunch of different tool companies. We reached out to Ryobi, Acme Tools, Rockler, who else we talked? Milwaukee, and everybody showed up. Milwaukee actually sent folks to help us today and support us here. So, yeah, everybody really kind of stepped up for you and kind of
looks like you're there.
Dad's here helping with electrical work. That's him in the background.
Oh.
What are your plans?
It's a typical electrician.
Typical electrician taking over the show, right?
Yeah, walk right in, take over.
Come on over, just stand in front of everybody.
I got a kid in the attic burning up.
What are your plans for the workshop? What are your plans moving forward after we're done here?
After you guys leave, after I've had to get the shop kind of dialed in, I would like to start making bat houses. They're endangered, and they're also amazing mosquito control, and none of us like mosquitoes, and we don't like pesticide spraying, so the bats are a better option than in our attic.
Oh, perfect. And then you said furniture maybe after that, right?
After I get a little bit better with the tools and familiar, I would like to start making custom small furniture.
That's awesome.
End tables, small chairs, things like that.
Awesome. Anything else we want to ask about or talk about? Yeah, we'll talk about the individual things that we do. For example, the working heights and the hoist and some of the things we do as we show it in the video, but this is a good introduction to say how we got here. We're going to do an inventory of the tools right now. We're going to go through our design that we've been working on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, people with disabilities, we're all different. So trying to make a cookie cutter workshop for everyone doesn't exist, so you have to customize everything. People with disabilities, we have to adapt to the world around us. We have wheelchairs, we have shower benches, we have ramps. Tools are no different.
Right. Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Exactly.
Heartbreak Ridge, one of my favorite movies. Jeff, did you want to say?
Yeah, I think one of the things that struck out to Rob and I, Jason, was when you reached out to us. It wasn't just asking for assistance, for help. It was really to help you build a foundation so you can project the confidence of being in a wheelchair, in woodworking, putting that out onto social media and so forth, and empowering others to really give it a shot.
When I was doing research on tools, I looked for people in wheelchairs with disabilities doing woodworking or any work. The closest I found is people that had they could stand, but then they wheeled around, but no real presence of anybody with spinal cord injury or anything like that, and that made me sad because we can do the same thing. It may take us 5 times longer and 10 times more energy to get it done, but that means there's far more pride in it when we're done.
Sweat equity, yeah. Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. Let's jump into this.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
It's great.
Thanks, Kelly. Super cool dude, humble, really nice. Humbling experience, no doubt. So day one, like you just saw, it was a meet and greet with Jason and his family. We inventoried the tool donations. We rolled up our sleeves, started to get things done. Knowing that the table saw is the hub of any workshop, we started there first. And Jason got a head start on us. He got a base made for us and cleaned up and tuned up his saw a little bit. We helped him tune it a little further. It needs to have space front and behind it, right? The table saw. So this space should be as long as the longest length that you're going to rip. Now, to help Jason use this table saw, we built him an outfeed table that was big enough to access from both sides for him and use as an assembly table as well. The rest of the shop tools in Jason's shop would be pretty much situated along the wall perimeter to allow him kind of a 360 pathway. And we do it in a sensible manner to allow and think about workflow and minimal traveling between tool stations. We combine tools together, their accessories, supporting tools, and try to put them with particular tasks if we could. For example, maybe think about like sanding accessories, a sander, a joiner, all in one spot. While designing the floor layout, we started thinking about and building and placing the following stations. We looked at a miter saw station on the back wall. It needed 36 wide by 28 high space for Jason to get in front of the saw. His assembly tables all needed at least 36 wide by that 28, 30 inches. So we did a clamping and sanding station using the Rockler assembly table. We took off the front rail of that so he could get in, and we extended the tabletop over. He will have to, in the future, add some weight to that to probably keep it from tipping, but it was a great solution, and using the T-tracks and the clamps, those auto-adjust clamps that Rockler has, Jason had no problem manipulating those, and it's going to be great for him as a third hand holding stuff down while he's routing, sanding, or carving something. We had to think about heights and reach and accessibility of the drill press, bandsaw that Jet sent, joiner, sanders, planers, a ceiling hoist that we were building, tool storage and material storage. So every single station or tool has a different reach limitation and considerations for Jason. And so we would have to have discussions and kind of think about it. And Jason will tweak these things as he goes as well. So to make the tools easier for Jay to use, we made several custom height benches or platforms and built tool bases so that we could get to that 28 to 30 inch working height in mind, because that was a comfortable height. Under some of the workbenches and open wall spaces, we would build and installed open shelving and tool storage, and that would allow him easy access to the tools, cordless tools, hand tools, sanders, chisels, stuff like that. Several tools, including the bandsaw, joiner, and planer, were given custom mobile bases that we built out of plywood and 2x to allow them to be add wheels and move around easily, while also accommodating a standard working height. Jason asked us if we could help him design and install a ceiling hoist. He had seen it on a video to move tools and machines and stuff around the shop. In the future, Jason has told us he wants to potentially experiment with tree trunk carving, and the hoist would allow him to basically get a stump up onto the assembly table. Acme Tools was able to secure a hoist donation from Champion Power Equipment, and Home Depot, they supplied the materials for the build. Jeff and I purchased a hoist trolley system to go into a unistrut track, and we built a ceiling mounted trolley track for this Champion hoist. To be safe and add improved support, we reinforced the ceiling joist by adding strong backs, structural members, and also we're able to tie into an existing double 2x12 beam with but basically the hoist was constructed out of unistrut with suspended threaded rod and hangers, and we were able to tie into that beam with the hangers. A spot in the shop was designed for material storage. We mounted a Bora wood storage wall rack on the wall for Jason to kind of store wood sticks. Sheet goods would probably more likely get stacked up against the wall out of the way for the time being. There's no good solution for us right now for that. When purchasing and handling sheet goods, though, we suggested that Jason consider purchasing his sheets broken down to manageable sizes from the lumber yard or home center. And often they'll do that as a free service. Jason was thinking 2x4 or 2x8 and cut it down to 4s. From there, he can use his table saw or a track saw to cut the sheets down to part sizes. For electrical needs and future dust collection and tools and stuff, Jason's dad, who's a retired electrician, installed several 20 amp circuits along the shop walls. The outlets were placed really low at a height that Jason could easily access. After we put the hoist in, his dad's going to go back in and run power to it. We needed an outlet in the ceiling so the hoist could maneuver. He's also going to add LED light strips at very strategic locations to get good work light. He's going to bring a 20 amp circuit down a power pole we installed to the table saw router station. And that power pole can also serve for future mounting service for a potential wall-mounted dust collector. Could go up and across the ceiling and on the wall. Jason told us that he overheats often, so his dad installed an AC unit on the back wall and a bank of Ryobi fans in the ceiling. It looks really cool. There's 4 of them. He also included one of those Ryobi air cannons on the side and blows right at his assembly table to keep him cool. That led us to day 2 in the shop. Hey guys, day 2 in Jason's garage, workshop garage. Jason, we got a lot of work done.
Yeah, we did.
What'd you think of yesterday? What was your impression?
You guys threw things together really quick, and sturdy. Like, I was very impressed with how much we got done yesterday
Yep.
in such little time.
This was your idea, so this is the outfeed extension assembly table. So
Yes.
we're pretty excited we got this built. We're gonna put a hoist up today.
Yeah.
That can lift things up, and maybe in the future you might want to do some sort of like stump carving or something.
Stump carving.
You can lift it with the hoist, lift the material up and put it onto the table.
But what also helped me with is anytime I want to work on a tool, instead of having to try to lean over onto the ground, hoisting to help me pick it up and put it on here so that way I can actually work on it at my level.
The hoist was Jason's idea. Jeff designed it, and we're going to put that together today. Jeff built the miter table yesterday, a couple of different heights going on. We're going to probably put some shelving in.
Shelving.
We're going to work on some wall assembly shelving. We're going to do the hoist. We're going to put together the bandsaw, and then we're going to take out the rest of the tool donations and start putting them kind of where they make the most sense, where the shop would flow best. Like sanding, drilling should go in one spot, assembly table, outfeed in another spot, and so on and so forth. So the shop flows for you.
Yes.
And the whole time where Jason's advising us, you know, we need to keep floor space and certain heights and things, because everything is custom.
And you guys have been very receptive on that, making sure that I can get through things without clipping my elbows, making sure work surfaces are at a good level for me.
Yep, and rounding corners and things
Rounding
like
corners.
that. So yeah, let's get started on day 2. You ready?
Sounds awesome.
Let's do it. So at the end of day 2, Jeff and I left Jason with tools, tables, basic woodworking workshop setup to help him get started on his woodworking journey. I'd like to really take a quick second and give special thanks to Acme Tools, Zach Road, Ryobi Tools, Jess Wright, Home Depot manager Patrick Towie, who saved the day by personally delivering materials that got lost in the shuffle on day 1. Just showed up with it. It was amazing. Milwaukee Tools, Kelly Blassie, who brought a truck stock with tools for us to use and assist in the build. Rockler Woodworking, Megan Powell, who sent us that clamping station and those clamps. Thank you. Champion Power Equipment, DeWalt, Bora, and Stanley, and Jet Power Tools for their donations. Without their help, we would not have been able to set up the shop for Jason as we did. Jason, thank you for trusting us and helping us achieve your dream. We wish you the very best in the future. Stay in touch. Shout out to Nathan.
I'd like to give a special thanks to Rob and Jeff, everyone from ToolBoxBuzz, all the amazing companies that donated tools, everyone behind the scenes that helped make this project happen. My nephew Eli Custern, my dad, my wife, Nathan and Julie Custern, and everyone else that have been there helping and giving support. Without all of you, this dream, this adventure would have never been possible. And with every fiber of my being, I thank you.